Last minute drama at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Arsenal finally concede. And have Man City knock Liverpool out of the title race. I'm Christopher Coleman. You're watching AfterMatch. Right, hey, welcome to AfterMatch. Another one right before an international break. So, like last week, like when I did it was top 10 tips for journalism students. I'm currently trying to formulate a video I can do next Tuesday. I I don't know what it's going to be yet. I've got a couple of ideas. But yeah, I'll still be uploading tomorrow. It might be about the international games if I can get around to doing it. Or it could be like last time, I just something more about me. Or more about my experiences, just like the other story time, just like tips and stuff. I guess we just had to wait and see, really. But yeah, getting into the international break now. And quite a few teams had. We had a bit of a mixed bag this week with how teams got on. So without further ado, before I start waffling in this intro bit, we get started with Tottenham Man United, which really got the intensity dialed up right at the end. After Mbemo scored, everyone was thinking, "Oh, that's." So for quite early in the game, everyone thought that's game done. But from the 84th minute onwards, it got very exciting, to be honest. Like, it was one of those games where, for quite a bit of time, I think many people just weren't watching it because it felt like Man United were just going to win 1-0 like Chelsea did the week before. Then Matthijs de got an equaliser. And I think I even said, "Oh, Tottenham couldn't, could they? Tottenham could." Richarlison, well, for first thing, it looks like he just deflects off of him, but it was actually very clever header from him. And yeah, everyone, I think, not just me and the couple I was watching with, I don't think anyone, everyone was already mentally writing in their heads that Tottenham just done a smash and grab, and they sort of did anyway, even though didn't end up winning, and that's because of Matthijs de Ligt doing the Harry Maguire role, as I would like to call it. Usually it's Harry Maguire who comes up with like last minute headers. You take the Leon game last season. But Matthijs de Ligt ended up having to do it as Maguire had been forced off with injury, I think. Yeah, it only just went in. Well, I say only just went in. It did actually hit the net, but Bukayo, who's been excellent all season, almost kept it out. But yeah, Man United decided to get something from the game, so I think even though it's not all 3 points, they're at least going to be happy they've gone away from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with at least something. Yeah, Tottenham's home record is terrible at the minute. As we saw in that game, even when they were in front in the 91st minute, they still couldn't win. But you got to expect that's going to. You see all the injuries they have. They got Madison got injured during pre-season. I think Kulusevski did, and Solanke did, and quite a few people did. They got quite a few long-term injuries. To be honest, to be fair to them. So yeah, I think we can only judge them when they're all back. I don't know when that's going to be. Does it say here? Basuma's in Bergvall as well, but that's concussion for Bergvall. Basuma's November, Slanky's December. Kulusevski's November as well. So him and Basuma might be back soon. Then Madison is in January. So about January, February time, I was thinking, well, it's the only time we can actually properly judge them. But at the moment, if I were a defensive manager, I think some Tottenham fans would be a bit confused about how they're still conceding with someone like Thomas Frank, who built a team on not conceding. That's all the big teams could only score once against them. And now you've had Aston Villa and Man United score twice against them. So anyway, moving on, we've got the first of the 3 o'clockers, which was Everton Fulham. Which, if it wasn't for players being offside, Everton could have potentially won this game 5-0. There's 3 disallowed goals, which included Tierno Barry thinking he got his first goal for Everton, but he got chalked off rightfully for offside. And all of them were correct. All the offside decisions were correct. But when you get like 2 disallowed, which I think there was 2 disallowed before Jessica scored, at that point you're mentally thinking it's not going to be our day. So many Everton fans probably were over the moon when eventually managed to poke the ball in. And they eventually wrapped it up in the second half when Michael Keane I think it was a header. It was a couple of days ago. I can't remember it. Guys go. I think that also had a VAR check because pretty much every single one of the goals in that game got a VAR check. 3 didn't count, 2 did. Yeah, it just shows you how not in this game Fulham were. Like, it's when you see, like, the shot. Actually, I was going to say, I do take a load from outside the box. Everton do quite a few from outside the box, to be fair, so I'm just going to not say that point. It's like 0 big chances, expected goals 0.4. Yeah, when I watched the highlights, Fulham were not in this game at all. And Everton ended up being deserved winners. And Fulham fans are probably going to be as concerned as most, seeing as the only team they've beaten since the end of September is Wolves, who are bottom. And that includes only getting through the FA Cup against Wycombe on penalties. So yeah, Fulham fans, if there are any Fulham fans who are watching this, what do you think about Mark Silva at the minute? Do you think you need a change of manager? Or do you think this is just going to be one of those things where you just have to ride it out? I'm genuinely interested to see what you think of Mark Silva at the minute, so feel free to leave in the comments if you want to. So anyway, moving on. West Ham have won 2 games in a row. And not only that, they've won 2 games in a row at the London Stadium. Well, last week it was their first win at London Stadium in 9 months, which shows you how bad they were last season. It was against... They got quite a good game against Burnley, but it was always returning back to type after 35 minutes after Zian Fleming, who's suddenly on the bit of a goal-scoring run. For Burnley in front, this is West Ham's problem this season. They keep on conceding from crosses and stuff. There's a reason why they're top of the leaderboard of goals conceded from corners. Christ, I think Chelsea did 3 times in one game, in that 5-1 game. I think 3 of them came from corners. But yeah, right before half time, Callum Wilson had home to at least make it 1-1. But the West Ham fans were understandably, as they're low down the table, going, that might only just be a consolation. And then Thomas Souček scored. And I thought the one last week was the most Thomas Souček goal that he will ever score. But he had to go and prove me wrong, didn't he? But he scored was like this bit. He's always in the right place at the right time. Whether you think he's a good player or not, the amount of goals he's got for West Ham is insane, and how many of them are important goals is ridiculous as well. So yeah, fair play to fair play to him. He's stuck around at West Ham and he's getting his reward for it. No matter what you think of him. And then I have a feeling Jared Bowen's not too happy with Carl Walsh for pieces at the minute. After he's not quite happy with Carl Walker pieces at the minute after he ran in front of him and tapped it in before he could. After I can't remember who shot, but what did it say here? It was Jack who did the long range shot. It was like 3-1, game done. Or at least that's what we thought. When Josh Collins scored, it was a free kick. He scored in 97th minute, and then the next thing that comes is a full time. So it's probably the last kick before the full time whistle, so they didn't have enough time anyway. So yeah, West Ham won 2 games in a row. They're now drawn on 10 points with Burnley, who they just played. And yeah, they're just one win and results going a favour away from being out of the relegation zone. It's like Leeds and Burnley started well, but as we can see in the table right now, they're back in 16th and 17th, which is probably more what people expected. It's just whether they can find a sudden string of wins, like West Ham have, like Northern Forest actually have as well. You're saying that was one, but I'll get on to Northern Forest in a sec. I still think Burnley and Leeds have got quite a high chance of going down. I still think West Ham have a high chance of going down. So yeah, but it's a big win to keep them to potentially have later on in the season they're not in a relegation fight, which would be something they would be quite happy with. Then moving on, I think almost every fan is so happy that we've finally seen Arsenal concede again. It's Sunderland who this season have made a habit of saying some of the big teams. With the only teams who have beat them being Man United and surprisingly Burnley. But yeah, they finally managed to breach Arsenal's rock solid defence after Dan Ballard, who is original trainee there, boosted in his first no, it's not his first goal, so he's got first term. He wanted to make it 1-0. And I think many people were just happy they didn't care about the result in the end. They're just happy that someone had finally scored against Arsenal. But then Arsenal, fair play to them, showed why they're probably favourites this year. After Saka and Trossard pretty much turned the his head during the second half, and it was just Arsenal attack after Arsenal attack. As soon as they went 2-1 up, we were like, okay, they've won again. That was until Brian Bobby came on. Brian Brobby came on. They thought the person they signed from Ajax, who, this is the thing about his goal. It's a great finish. How he's managed to get this on target with his technique, I'll never know. But it shows you how much he wanted to get a point out of this game, that he wasn't scared to literally fling himself at the ball, knowing that Gabriel was like here. The goalkeeper was about to punch it away as well. But yeah, it was well-deserved point for Sunderland in the end, just from that first half alone. And you've got to imagine that some teams who are going to be up against in the next couple of games, I think Chelsea have got them actually. after we got after Burnley and Barcelona. Barcelona then followed by Arsenal. I'm not looking forward to that, to be honest. But yeah, it leaves Arsenal top, obviously. But because of what happened later on, which I'll get to, their leader at the top doesn't look so commanding anymore, and now looks rather manageable. So yeah, well done Sunderland. You've looked great again. There's no way they're going down. They've looked excellent. I think I said this last week. I feel like Sunderland are one of those teams where everyone's going to accept they're going to stay up. It's more the second season where you had to judge them. So yeah, I think Sunderland will stay up. They've recruited well. Yeah, I'm quite interested to cut to the end of the season where they are on the table. Because I imagine some people, when they look back at their Premier League table predictions, not many people are going to be right. And moving on to Chelsea versus Wolves, people are expecting Wolves maybe to have a chance because of that Carabao Cup game where we only won 4-3, or Chelsea only won 4-3. But this is really a game where the end of both halves had two different reactions from the Chelsea crowd. Fair enough, after the first half we hadn't scored against the bottom side, you could probably say that the boos were probably justified. Or not, I didn't think they were justified to begin with, but I could sort of see why they weren't happy. And it didn't want to be one of those games where we've seen before with Chelsea and with other clubs where it just feels like we're giving one of the lower downsides as many chances as they can. The team gets a low block where you just can't score, and then they go up here and win it 1-0 or 2-0. And like Martin Tyler said on the commentary, Martin Tyler was doing the Premier League commentary, I think. But why did a breaking deadlock was a bit of a collector's item. Malagusta getting his first goal for Chelsea. And honestly, the amount of criticism he's been getting, no matter, again, sort of like Souček, no matter what you think of him, I think very quite a few Chelsea fans were over the moon to see him finally get his goal. It felt like a long time coming. Someone who goes forward, like as Smith said on the commentary, someone who goes forward that often. Is it genuinely a massive surprise he hasn't scored yet? And my favourite bit is when they cut to Enzo Maresca on the touchline. He looks about as surprised as everyone else. I think he said in his post-match interview that not only was he surprised that Malagusta had scored, he was surprised that he scored with a header. But yeah, very happy for Malagusta getting his first goal. That's a weight off his shoulders. At least if he goes next season, he at least knows he's at least scored for Chelsea, and he's just got to have that. He's probably already got this game on watch later on YouTube, or if it's on TV, he's already saved it in some way. Just look, I scored for Chelsea. And then Esteban, at some point he's got to have to start games, but I can understand why he's only 18, and I can understand why we're not starting him straight away because of his age and stuff like that. He came on, and 68 seconds later, he teed up Jeff Pedro to pretty much wrap the game up. We'll get to the bottom side. Many people thought, 2-0 was probably enough. But we managed to make it even better when Garnacho, who had an excellent game. Enzo Fernandez deserved man of the match, but Garnacho was definitely a good second. getting his second assist, teeing up Pedro Neto, where they finally got to do the celebration against Sunderland on a game they actually won. One thing I wanted to discuss is the fact that Garnacho definitely does seem happier at Chelsea. I don't know if the Chelsea bars coming through or anything, but he does seem more happier at Chelsea. Just is Garnacho playing well, like due to the fact that he's now feels at home at a club, or he's getting more game time and he's not seen as third choice, or something like that. Whereas at Man United, he was quite regularly looked over, probably only used for like the cup games. I've seen a couple of other Chelsea fans say that. Again, like I always say, leave down in the comments if you've got any opinion on it. But anyway, time to move on to the Sunday games. Right, onto the Sunday games. Another case of 4 in one go. So I actually had to watch all the highlights yesterday. And the one I'll get onto that later, but the first one on the list is Aston Villa 4, Bournemouth 0. Bournemouth doing well. This genuinely was a massive shock to me, this result. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Aston Villa beat Bournemouth. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's what the fact they scored 4 times against them. Bournemouth recently have been known for, if we do lose, we won't concede much. But yeah, Emiliano Buendia's free kick. You know it's good when the keeper doesn't move. It's either it's a good free kick or the goalkeeper's completely screwed up which way he's going. And then it was another stunner from Amadou Onana. So I had a bit of a twinge in my face. I don't know what went on there. Amadou Onana got taken in classic Onana fashion. I think he scored a goal like that before. He definitely shot like someone who's scored one like that before. And yeah, Amadou Onana is a player I do quite like. I think Man United were linked with him, Chelsea were linked with him. I might be wrong though. I think the only reason I think Chelsea were linked with him, because I was back in, I was like, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind him, but he's doing great at Aston Villa. He's probably him and Kamara are probably the 2 starters. It was like, if it ended 2-0, everyone would have gone okay, fair enough. It was then when Barkley scored and then Marlon scored. It was when everyone went, right, Bournemouth getting a bit of a thrashing here. I think it's more how big the scoreline was more than who won or not. You expect both these teams to finish in a scenario they could finish next to each other. So this scoreline just felt a bit ridiculous. And on the table, Aston Villa are in 6th place. It doesn't say whether. I'm assuming that the Conference League is 6th place, but they just don't show it here. Also, I don't know why I'm talking about Champions League, Europa League places for game 11. At least Bournemouth 4th and 9th. But it doesn't really matter. There's so many teams on 18 points. You've got Bournemouth, Liverpool, Man United, Aston Villa and Tottenham all on 18 points. Like, within one match day, if scores don't go away, Chelsea can go from 3rd to 9th in one. Well, that would involve having every team that these teams are playing be in the bottom half. If you get where I'm coming from with that. But yeah, it's so tight at the minute. Hopefully when we get 2/3 through the season, it's much more clear who's fighting for what. But yeah, great result for Aston Villa. It probably just came as a bit of a surprise to everyone. Moving on, we've got. I had to go at Tottenham's home record. Newcastle's away record has been ridiculous at the minute. And that didn't change here as they lost to Brentford. Well, they actually went in front with a brilliant goal from Harvey Barnes. Pretty much left two of the defenders on toast for firing home. But then the second half, Brentford pretty much turned up in the second half. And it was another long throw from Michael Coyote. Like, I don't know where they found Coyote, but his long throws are ridiculous. And so many teams just can't deal with them. Chelsea conceded to one, Liverpool conceded to one, now Newcastle conceded to one. This time being diverted by Kevin Schade. And then Brentford got a penalty after. Oh god, I can't remember. Oh yeah, it was the one I got down by and sent off. You see, the thing I want to talk about with those penalty decisions in that game is personally for me they felt a bit back to front. I thought the first one was a penalty and the second one wasn't a penalty. It was just a bit soft. And the other one gave the other way around. But again, that's just personal opinion. I'm pretty sure the PGMOL will probably have an explanation of why one wasn't and one was. But like personally, I think they might have gone wrong way round. But yeah, that was Dan Burn sent off. And then both have got enough time to get another. And yeah, ever since last season where Newcastle won the Carabao Cup and everyone thought, oh, Eddie Howe's going to be our manager forever. He's one of the best managers we've ever had. They're currently in 14th on 12 points. With Everton and Brentford and Brighton like breaking away from them now. They're risking getting left behind at this rate. And if West Ham, Burnley, Leeds and Fulham all win, in a theoretical scenario, Newcastle will be in the relegation zone. And it's all due to their away form. At home they look fine. But away they look dreadful. I don't know what's going on with that. If you can go to the away form table, Newcastle 15th on 3 points. They've drawn 3 times away, not won a game, which is got to be highly concerning. So yeah, moving on. This is the game I ended up watching out of the 4, and we managed to pick the only game that didn't have any goals. It was the A23 derby, I think is what it's called. It's not really a derby. It's more like grudge match. I think is the best term. So one of the big things in the lineup was seeing JD Canvo in a no Marquet at all because he was injured, which people are going to be hoping isn't going to be for too long. It says here late November, so it should be available at least after like the first game when we come back. But yeah, I was totally expecting goals in this game. It was a game that looked set up to have a load of goals. You had Mattetti scoring, you had Welbeck scoring, you had Diego Gomez scoring twice last week. You had Salah scoring for fun. But it ended up being a game where the backline really took precedent in this game. The fact that Verbrugge got man of the match. So yeah, I've not really got much else to say. It's not really done much for them in the table either. They just stuck next to each other in terms of relevance. Yeah, moving on. Sean Dyche has now got his second winners as Nottingham Forest head coach, which is more than Nuno and Postecoglou have managed this season put together. Well, I can't really say put together when Andrew Postecoglou's number is 0. But yeah, Leeds actually went in front in this game when Lucas Mecha fired home quite well, low and hard into the far corner. Then Sangari. This was a weekend of first for quite a few players. Well, quite a few players too. As even Sangari got his first goal for Nottingham Forest. Again, genuinely surprised he hasn't scored yet for Nottingham Forest. I still vaguely remember him scoring for them, but I think I'm just misremembering. And that's how it stayed until the second half. Because White headed in. It was like right after he made substitutions, if the commentary told me anything. Yeah, it was pretty much 10 minutes after. 10 minutes after the substitution, so it worked perfectly. Then one of the Forest players got taken down in the box. It was Mario Hutchinson, who got traded over Jack Harrison, and Elliot Anderson, who I think only took it because he was because Wood wasn't in the squad. Equal Jesus had come off, and I just feel like I'm telling one you just didn't want to take it clearly. So Anderson went, "Look, I'll take it," and he took it well. He fired it home. So, it just seems like every week we're getting the results that just keeping this clump so close together. Of course, not including that one. But I just wanted to really find that out. At some point, the same teams are going to win over and over again. It's just you've got to get the mid-table teams who, by about March, are going to have nothing to play for. But then they're more dangerous to play in the run-in, which I'll get into more into when we're actually in the run-in. So yeah, I said in the intro bit for the last game of this weekend, which was Man City versus Liverpool. I saw quite a few people putting 1-1, which is fair enough. Liverpool just went hosted Real Madrid and won 1-0. I don't blame Liverpool fans for thinking, look, we've just been Real Madrid, we've got a chance. And I feel like some of them were very disappointed with how they played. Of course, like I said in the predictions, if you see my quickfire predictions, which is getting quite a lot of views at the minute, I did apologise to Liverpool fans because I've done 4 of them at the minute. I haven't put a Liverpool win yet. Of course, that's not going to be the case. I don't really want to be the type of person who everyone labels as saying Liverpool. I really don't. It's just you've been dealt a bad hand when I started doing the quickfire Premier League predictions. You probably had 4 games in a row where all I could see was you drawing or losing. But yeah, the big talking point, which I feel like everyone who actually does watch this is going to be annoyed if I don't mention it, is the Andy Robertson disallowed, the Virgil van Dijk disallowed goal because of Andy Robertson being offside. this might be the Chelsea fans going through, but on the side of it was disallowed correctly, I was seeing that Liverpool are actually going to go to the PGMOL about it, and they were pointing out that Jamie Carragher had to go other clubs for doing it, but I wonder what he's thinking about the fact that Liverpool are going questioning you about it. I don't think it would have made be a difference about the result, as Man City pretty much outplayed them in every sense, and Man City even had the luxury of missing a penalty and still winning 3-0 after Erling Haaland. Again, I talked about collector's item of Malagusta scoring. Another collector's item. Erling Haaland's only missed a penalty twice and it's now 3 times. It wasn't even a bad penalty, but and Liverpool fans would have probably gone, okay, that means it might be our day. But it didn't end up being the case, as Haaland ended up scoring, even though this Chelsea didn't know much about it. And you had Canate trying to work out where the ball was and then just watched it drop into the back of the net. So Haaland got his customary goal. Not much, even though we're not quite sure how much he meant it, or how much he even knew what happened. Then Nico Gonzalez scored right before half time during the additional time. I also I heard from someone that apparently on Reddit they accidentally put it as Nico O'Reilly, not Nico Gonzalez. But yeah, it's another. You've seen it. We've seen it quite a few times this season actually. Taking a long shot and taking a deflection. Gravenberch got 2 because of that. Casemiro 2 weeks ago. And now Nico Gonzalez today. And then Jamie Doku, very deserved man. I'm sure he got man of the match. Yeah, very deserved man of the match. Got a very good goal. Very impressed with him on Sunday. It was a curly if you haven't seen the game. And yeah, to answer my question at the start, do I think that's Liverpool out of the title race? Potentially. But again, the counter argument will be we're in game 11, they're only 3 points behind? 18, 19, 10. 4 points. You can tell I haven't done maths in ages. But this is not the type of form you would expect from a team looking to retain the title. If you're a team trying to retain the title, you can't be 11 games into the season and you've already lost 5 times. Especially what I'm trying to say. You got Arsenal at the top, who's lost once. You got Man City 3, Chelsea 3, Sunderland 2, and they've Liverpool won 6, drawn 9, lost 5. Like, draws will at least get you some points. Losses will do nothing. So yeah, if they don't get their form sorted out soon, then I think they could just give up on trying to retain the title. Anyway, as I've seen this episode this only might get to the 40-minute mark. I'm gonna wrap it up now. So be sure to keep an eye on what video I end up doing on next Tuesday. I've not got anything to talk about. Like international games wise, if I just quickly talk about this, is you got England who have already qualified, Portugal who are probably going to qualify. I think we're going to be only a couple of games away to finding out every team in the World Cup this year. So I might do a video, if that is the case. That might be next Tuesday's video of seeing who has qualified, who looks like they're about to qualify. To give my thoughts. The later video will be when everyone's qualified. I'll just do a video talking about that. So anyway, hopefully everything's fine this time. Hopefully this is a more longer episode again. Hope you enjoyed watching. Stay tuned to see what next week's video is going to be. I'm Chris Coleman. This has been AfterMatch. I'll see you later. Thank you for watching AfterMatch. If you want to see more episodes, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel where you'll get a video version of this. Or follow me on Spotify if you want to listen to future episodes on the go. Be sure to check out my website, Centre Circle, which you can find on the About page of my YouTube channel.